KSC presence. This Bangkok skyscraper now lies abandoned, and ghosts are said to haunt its decaying walls. Its builders intended the Sathurn Unique Tower to be one of the most exclusive condominium complexes in all of Bangkok. However, after a financial crisis that rocked Thailand, the ill-fated building fell into a state of decay. And today, they say the only residents of the tower are ghosts. The continent of Asia is home to a range of abandoned buildings, cities and monuments that have put a haunting stamp on the landscape. Take, for example, the Ryugyong Hotel in the North Korean capital of Pyongyang. The impressive landmark was expected to be the tallest hotel in the world, demonstrating the power of the country's socialist regime. But it would never realize this dream. Construction on the Ryugyong Hotel kicked off in 1987. The 105-story skyscraper would form a pyramid-shaped silhouette on the skyline of Pyongyang. Its official name translates to Capital of Willows, a historical nickname for the North Korean capital. And though it has become known colloquially as a hotel, the intention was for the building to serve many purposes. It appeared that the North Korean government was very excited about the development of the Ryugyong Hotel. As a result, it decided to add it to maps and emblazon it on stamps before it was even finished. However, little did the government know that more than 30 years after construction began, the building would still not have opened. The development of the Ryugyong Hotel hit its first stumbling block in 1992. At that time, North Korea plunged into a period of economic uncertainty after the collapse of the Soviet Union a year prior. As a result, the enormous empty skyscraper loomed vacant over Pyongyang, completely devoid of windows and fittings, and with a crane rusting away on top. For more than a decade, it seemed that any plans for the Ryugyong Hotel had been completely abandoned. During this period, the European Union Chamber of Commerce in Korea labeled the building as irredeemable. After an inspection in the late 1990s, concerns were expressed that the concrete used on the building was of low quality. Furthermore, sources reported that the elevator shafts in the skyscraper were crooked. Seemingly embarrassed about the failed enterprise, the North Korean government tried to pretend that the Ryugyong Hotel didn't exist, despite its unignorable presence on the Pyongyang skyline. Photographs of the city were edited to remove the building, and it was purposefully left off maps. Consequently, the building became known as the Phantom Hotel in the foreign press. But that was not the end of the Ryugyong Hotel's story. In 2008, work on the skyscraper resumed. It was hoped the building would be ready by 2012, a year that would mark the 100-year anniversary of the birth of North Korea's eternal President Kim Il-sung. The opening date was eventually pushed back to 2013. However, the building remains empty to this day. And it's not just North Korea that has seen major developments forced into abandonment because of lack of funding. Bangkok, the capital city of Thailand, is home to several neglected buildings. That's because many of them fell victim to the Tom Yam Kung financial crisis of 1997. After World War II, the economy of Thailand grew, thanks, in part, to U.S. aid, as well as government-sponsored investment. In the 1970s, Japanese businesses began to invest in the area, and soon Bangkok had grown into a financial hub. The city continued to flourish throughout the 1980s and into the 1990s, which saw a series of skyscrapers erected throughout Bangkok, giving it a futuristic feel. However, the building frenzy was halted in 1997 when Thailand was rocked by the Tom Yam Kung crisis. The economic meltdown was caused by several factors, one being a crash in real estate in 1996. After that, the stock index fell and 16 financial institutions closed down. By July 1997, the Thai baht was a floating currency, meaning that market forces purely determined its value, rather than the government setting it. The effects of the economic crisis had a devastating impact on Thailand and its population. Many people lost their jobs, and others had their salaries halved. Furthermore, employment opportunities were few and far between. As a result, Even those with skills and education found it almost impossible to find work. Moreover, the crisis had a far-reaching and long-lasting impact in Thailand. Lots of people took their own lives as a result of financial pressure. Furthermore, it also affected many of Thailand's neighbors throughout Southeast Asia. These included South Korea, Indonesia, Malaysia, Laos, Hong Kong and the Philippines. And while the economy of Thailand has since recovered, the lasting impact of the Tom Yam Goong crisis can still be seen. The country has only repaid 33.61% of its debt, and in 2016 it had to pay off 40.2 billion baht, a sum equating to more than $1.3 billion. Consequently, Bangkok's many unfinished buildings now serve as a reminder of Thailand's rocky economic past. One such construction is the Sathorn Unique Tower in the Sathon district of Bangkok. The 49-story tower was almost completed when the Asian financial crisis struck. However, it is yet to fulfill its destiny as a luxury grouping of condominiums. Instead, it has become one of the city's most famous discarded buildings. The building was designed by Rangzin Torsuwan. His work was described as exultant postmodernism, architectural pastiche in which styles and eras are thrown together without any signs of restraint, by Dan Waits in his 2014 book Culture Shock. Bangkok. As such, the Sathorn Unique Tower featured many Neo-Grecian features including columns and balconies. Torsuwan and his company had high hopes for the new development. According to Atlas Obscura, the building's commercial brochure reads, "Sathorn Unique Tower is our first residential project in downtown Bangkok." The tower is 49 stories with a total of 659 residential units and 54 retails, located only less than 200 meters, 220 yards, from BTS, Taksin Station. The brochure for the development continued, Sathorn Unique Tower is also located at the edge of the old commercial town of Shirurnkung, and meets the new international business zone of Silam Sathorn roads. It sits on the Horseshoe Bend, which is considered the best place for overlook at the Bangkok's grand cityscape and the charm of the Chaprai River. However, after the collapse of Bangkok's real estate market, the companies that were paying for Sathorn Unique Tower fell into liquidation, building projects across the capital ground to a halt. Consequently, the city was left with more than 300 incomplete high-rise buildings. Today, though, there are only around 12 so-called ghost towers left, including Sathorn Unique. The situation surrounding Sathorn Unique Tower was complicated further by a controversial law case. In 1993, the building's developer and designer Torsuwan was arrested for plotting to kill Praman Chansu, the president of the Supreme Court. What's more, Torsuwan was found guilty of the crime in 2008. However, that wasn't the end of the story. That's because Torsuwan was acquitted of the crime in 2010 after taking his case to the Court of Appeals. But while Torsuwan had successfully cleared his name, he found his clout in the property developing world had diminished, and he struggled to find funding for his projects. As such, the completion of the Sathorn Unique Tower was put on hold. In the years that followed, Torsuwan's son Pansit tried to restart building work on Sathorn Unique Tower. However, his attempts to negotiate or refinance the project fell short. Furthermore, the matter wasn't helped by Rangzin Torsuwan, who refused to dissolve the company by declaring bankruptcy. Instead, he insisted on selling the development on so that he could pay off the tower's original buyers. As a result, the unfinished Sathorn Unique Tower has wasted away on Bangkok's skyline for almost 30 years. The building's core is mostly complete, and the building is regarded as structurally secure. However, the interior and many structural details have never been touched, and the upper levels of the skyscraper are largely half done. Given the skeletal appearance of Sathorn Unique Tower, it cuts a foreboding figure on the banks of the Chao Phraya River. But it's not just the look of the forgotten building that has the ability to send shivers down locals' spines. That's because many Bangkok natives believe the skyscraper is haunted. According to local legend, The Sathurn Unique is doomed because its shadow plunges the nearby Wat Yanawa temple into darkness. Furthermore, it's believed that the tower was built on an old burial ground. So in a country like Thailand, where superstitions are rife, natives apparently aren't surprised by the fate Sathurn Unique has found itself in. But while Sathurn Unique Tower had never fulfilled its full potential, it is still an attraction of sorts to some visitors to Bangkok. The derelict building is of particular interest to urban explorers. For the pastime, thrill seekers enjoy delving into abandoned structures or accessing places the public usually don't go. Sathurn Unique Tower is supposed to be off-limits. However, there are allegations that security guards sometimes take bribes in exchange for access to the building. In 2015, Dutch travel blogger Chris Wiersma claimed he was allowed to the top of Sathurn Unique after handing over just $6.22. Following his jaunt up Sathurn Unique Tower, Wiersma shared his experience with the Daily Telegraph. In 2017 he revealed, "The lowers, floors up to around the 35th seemed quite finished to me. They have railings on the balcony, partly wooden floors installed, and even the bathrooms have tiles, toilets and baths." Continuing his description of Sathurn Unique Tower, Wiersma added, "From the 35th floor up the construction gets less and less complete. Fewer railings on the balconies, open shafts for plumbing, and no more wooden floors but only concrete with holes in it. The intimidating part comes from the fact that you don't know what you'll see around each corner." Another person who's succumbed to the appeal of Sathurn Unique Tower is photographer Dax Ward. Hailing from the United States, Ward has lived in Bangkok since 2007. Describing his adopted hometown on his website, Ward said, "The Big Mango provides endless subject matter for photos, with every moment providing something interesting and unique to capture." Revealing Ward's style of photography, the self-penned bio on his website continues, "My heart is in street shooting. But these days I'm heavily involved in the urban exploration genre, seeking out and capturing the eerie beauty of abandoned, decaying, or unusual structures and sites around Thailand." He added, "I'm fascinated with the history of places that were once important components of local communities, but now lay derelict and forgotten to history." When Ward visited Sathurn Unique Tower, he snapped a stunning series of photographs, which revealed the state of the building today. Large swaths of the tower are now overgrown, and many interior walls have become a canvas for street art. Elsewhere, Ward captured piles of dumped building supplies, including bricks and sand piles. So given the attention Sathurn Unique Tower has received from urban explorers and graffiti artists, the ill-fated development has become a Bangkok landmark in its own right. However, not all the publicity the building has received has been positive. In 2014, the body of Swedish backpacker Stig Johan Christian Hammarsten was found on the tower's 43rd floor, after his apparent suicide. With that in mind, it has become a priority for Pansit Torsuwan to secure Sathurn Unique from trespassers. Consequently, in 2015 he filed charges against 5 people who had entered the building and documented their visit online. He hoped that he could make an example of the intruders, deterring others from stepping foot in the tower in the future. Speaking to the Daily Telegraph, Pansit Torsuwan confirmed that the building was structurally safe. But he was eager to stress that accidents were still possible. "The only issue that concerns me about the safety of the building is that a lot of people want to climb up there, to take photos, or party, or have some sort of adventure," he explained. Revealing his biggest fears, Torsuwan told the Daily Telegraph, "Many spots in the building are not safe. Some floors are half completed, rails not installed yet. It is very easy to fall down and have a serious accident." So with that in mind, the developer has attempted to secure the potential death trap to prevent a nasty accident. The decline of Sathurn Unique Tower must be even more distressing to the Torsuwans when compared to the success of its sister building, the State Tower. Lying just 1,600 feet to the north of the so-called Ghost Tower, this skyscraper is one of the most striking in Bangkok. Rising 820 feet above the city, Its scalloped balconies and golden dome are synonymous with luxury in the city. The State Tower was also designed by Rangzin Torsuwan during the early 1990s. With 3,200,000 square feet of floor space, the building is the largest in Southeast Asia. Furthermore, at 68 stories high, it's the 8th tallest building in the whole of Thailand, as of 2019. However, upon its completion in 2001, it was the second tallest. In 2019, the State Tower was home to a number of service departments and condominiums, as well as retail units and offices. The building also contained 2 5-star hotels, Tower Club at Labua and Labua at State Tower. Furthermore, on the 64th floor visitors could find Sirocco, the highest open-air restaurant in the world, which boasts sweeping views of Bangkok. But despite its past, perhaps the Sathurn Unique Tower will one day be as successful as the State Tower. At the very least, Pansit Torsuwan is confident that it will get finished. Of course, it has to be done one way or another, he told the Daily Telegraph. If it can be done within my authority, I will need to compensate every stakeholder fairly, so everyone leaves this place with too much hard feeling. Of course, 20 years is too much pain. Thank you for watching. And don't forget to subscribe.